Hi, my name is Stephanie. Welcome back to my channel. So today I will be explaining how to pick a college. I do want to start with a tiny little disclaimer. I will insert the timestamp for if you do not want to see the disclaimer. In the end, choosing a college does not matter. Nearly everybody ends up absolutely loving their college. I have not met a single person who does not love their college or thinks their college is the best. And honestly, it does not matter for the quality of education. It will be the same at every single college. Your education will still be absolutely amazing. Without further ado, let's just get this whole college choosing thing started. You're probably in the same position now because you're watching this video as I was a little over a year ago. I was applying to Oxford and I needed to pick a college, where you just need to pick a college out of 45 colleges that are listed. It can seem a bit daunting to pick one of the 45 colleges that Oxford offers. This will work for both undergrad, postgrads at both Oxford and Cambridge because it's such a similar system. Let me just pull up my wonderful Excel sheet. The absolute first thing you want to do is make a list of all the colleges. So I picked an example. I picked an undergraduate degree at Oxford, but obviously you can do this for a postgrad degree in Cambridge as well. I just picked an example course to kind of explain the process of what I think is the best way to just narrow it down. Obviously, this is not the only way of narrowing it down. So first of all, just make a list of all the colleges that are out there. So Oxford has 45 colleges. I've put them in alphabetical order because that's easier, as most data comes in alphabetical order. And the first thing you want to filter on is whether or not the colleges offer your degree. So some colleges will not offer all of the degrees. Some degrees will be offered by a lot of colleges. Some degrees will be offered by very few colleges. The course that I picked is quite in a normal range. By searching whether or not the college actually offers the degree, you'll automatically filter out nearly half or even more of the colleges depending on your course. And if you're an undergrad, this will also automatically filter out all of the postgrad colleges. And honestly, you don't have to spend any time researching colleges that you cannot attend in the first place because they do not offer your course. The second thing you want to look at is whether or not the college is a mature college. Oxford, if I'm not mistaken, has 3 mature colleges. A mature college is a college you can only attend if you're over 21 years old. So if you're an undergrad entering Oxford when you're 18 or 17 years old, you cannot attend that college solely based on your age. If you're a postgrad and you want to attend Oxford, you might want to consider going to a mature college. However, if you don't really feel like going there and you want to have 18-year-olds in your college, you might just want to take them out. If you don't care, just don't filter on it. So this will unfortunately not narrow my list down any further, but it might take out a couple for you. So the next thing is maybe a bit petty to look at, but I still wanted to include it because I do want to explain something about it. A lot of people do see this as a major thing of narrowing it down. It's the way it looks. So some colleges are newer than others, and some of them have more brutalist architecture than others. But honestly, the way to look at that is just absolutely looking at pictures. Go to Google, image search the college, because some colleges are founded in like the last century, but they're in very old buildings because they either bought buildings from a different college or the college before that was on that same spot actually stopped existing. So they took over that spot, if that makes sense. So with that being said, do not just blindly stare at the founding year of a college, because some colleges are just founded fairly recently and still look very old. For this example, I only picked out 2 colleges that have very, very modern architecture in my personal opinion. That's St. Cat's and St. Anne's. So I took both of them out. All of the rest I just deemed older looking. Obviously, if you do not want to filter on this, you don't have to. So next thing you might want to look at is college size. And I'm not talking about the size of the grounds. I'm talking about the student body size. So this is a very, very interesting one. Basically, what I did was I looked up all the data on the Oxford website. You can find it yourself. You can see the undergraduate class size that gets admitted each year to the college. And the second row is the total size of the college. That includes postgrads and undergrads. Next thing I did, put all of this down for all of the colleges, and I calculated a median. And from that point forward, I kind of tried to figure out whether they were extra small, medium, large, or extra large. And in the the extra small category, I only really put exceptions, and I did the same with the extra large category, and all of those colleges did not end up being in my example, but extra small ones tend to be PPHs, my college included, so that's under 190 students total for the college, and anything that was above 800, such as St. Cat's, only college that was over 800 students. I put in the extra large section as it was significantly larger than the other colleges in there. The rest of them, I equally divided them up between small, medium, and large. And I recalculated a median for just the colleges I have over here. Those are at the bottom, as you can see. So I have a median out of this for 115. For all of the colleges together, it was about 111. So that's not too far off. And then I have another median for total college size, which is 606. For all of the colleges, that was just under 500. But now, what do you pick? Do you pick a small college, a medium college, or a large college? Before I'm gonna state my personal opinion on this topic, I'm gonna list a little bit of the pros and cons of being in the smaller versus a bigger college. And I'm gonna leave it up to you to decide what you deem is more important and kind of where you feel more comfortable, if that makes sense. First of all, this is very general. Just want to state that. So that might be different for every single college. In a bigger college, you're more likely to have more activities and more sports clubs within your college. So a larger college is more likely to have a football team, a croquet team, a cricket team, a field hockey team, tennis team, anything like that. And maybe they have even a second team as well if that specific sport is really large in that specific college. Most colleges do have rowing teams or a rowing club, but when you're at a smaller college, your college is less likely to offer the same amount of sports clubs within your college. That does not mean that you cannot do those sports, because generally those sports are also provided by the university clubs that are university wide, so you can still play football with other students from different colleges. Another thing is that in a smaller college, you are more likely to get a MCR or JCR position if you are interested in it. Because there is less people to compete with, you're more likely to actually get a position that is something that you're really interested in and something that you would really value. It might actually be easier to go to a smaller college because you're more likely to get such positions, because in this larger college you will be competing against more people for the same amount of position. Another very big difference is in larger colleges there will be more anonymity, while in smaller colleges everybody kind of will know everyone. So that's kind of up to you where you feel more comfortable. Also, in a bigger college it's more likely that there are more people on the same course as you are, while in a smaller college it's more likely that there are fewer people on the same course as you are. So that's also something to consider. So I personally think that those are kind of the main differences between college sizes. So that all being said, I thought that when I was applying to Oxford that I wanted to be in a very, very big college, but currently I found out that I actually would prefer to be in either a small or a medium-sized college. And honestly, I just want to say something to all of you postgrads out there. If you are applying to Oxford or Cambridge College and you're just going to be there for 1 or 2 years and you want to get to know people and you're a very sociable person, it might be more fun to go to a little bit of a smaller college, because when you're going to a college that has over 700 students, the chances of you actually getting to know all of them or even bumping into all of them is just so small. While if you're at a smaller college, you're more likely to create more meaningful friendships, in my personal opinion. But I'm going to leave that one up to you. I would prefer being in a small or medium-sized college. Next thing you might want to look at is tradition. So going to an Oxford or Cambridge college comes with a lot of tradition. Some of you might be very into all the traditional stuff and all the things that have been going on for centuries, and some of you might just not be interested in it. If you're not interested in it, just skip this step. Don't filter on it. It's that easy. But if you are, you might want to look up how many traditions all of the colleges have going on. I, for instance, used this filter specifically to check whether these colleges had at least one gowned formal a week. That means that you have one fancy dinner a week in college where you have to wear your gown. So it's very Harry Pottery. And that was something that I thought was important because it's Oxford. I do want to wear my gown to hall because that's just kind of part of the vibe. So for me, that was something that I thought was important. Some colleges do not require you to wear your gown to hall at all. And some other colleges only have once a week formal hall. So you could even buckle down on it stricter if you would want to. Okay, so next thing is maybe also a bit petty, but if it's whether or not the college has a bar. So most colleges do have a bar, but some colleges don't. It's not an essential thing for a college to have a bar, but if you think it would be fun to go to a college that has a bar, I don't know, filter on it. Not having a bar does not mean that there will not be any social activities in college. You'll find that your JCR or your MCR will host parties or other drinks in the physical MCR or JCR space. Cool. Next thing is a very, very Oxbridge thing. It is 24/7 libraries. I think most colleges actually have a 24/7 library, but some still don't, which is fine. However, I never thought that I would need a 24/7 library until I went to Oxford and found myself on multiple occasions sitting at 3 a.m. in the library at my college. So that being said, you might actually want to consider going to a college that has a 24/7 library. The only one up here that does not have it but is colored green is Christchurch, but they do have a 24/7 study space. Either way, I think a 24/7 library is a must. If you're working fine in your room and you don't really care about it, don't filter on it. So the next thing I filtered on is probably one of the most important things. So I looked at the research interests of the fellows and lecturers at the colleges that were left over on my list. What that means is when you're an undergrad and you're going, or a postgrad, so when you are an undergrad and you're going to Oxford or Cambridge, you will be taught by the fellows and the lecturers of your college, which means that they probably are going to teach you the things that they find interesting. They do stick to a curriculum, but they probably lean more towards the things that they're doing research into. And I understand that if you're currently 17 or 18 years old and you just don't know what within your subject area might interest you, that is totally fine. But please do go onto the website of the colleges and just click on the relevant fellows and lecturers to just read what they're interested in and what research they are doing. Because if you read some of those bios and you're like, oh, I really don't like that, or I'm really not interested in that, maybe don't apply to that college, because you will be stuck with those people for 3 to 4 years. So yeah, might be a thing to consider because you'll be bumping into those people. So from that point forward, you can also kind of select less important things, which also could include the way the college looks and the bar and anything like that. But other things to consider you could narrow down on is food prices, for example. So the food prices do vary quite a bit between the colleges. They'll serve relatively cheap meals, but some colleges tend to be cheaper than others. But also some colleges have better food quality than others. Next thing I would recommend is that you visit the colleges. If you're able to, go for it. Just visit a handful of colleges. I would limit it to 10. Just get a feeling of the college, talk to the students. Another thing you might want to consider is green spaces, because some colleges only have quads, which is very Oxbridge-like. But if you prefer open green spaces, that is something you could consider. Another thing is that I learned that I really filtered on hard when I was looking at colleges was their location, but honestly it doesn't really matter where your college is at. I live quite far out, which is totally fine. I have my bicycle, I can be anywhere within 10 minutes. A final thing you could filter on is kind of a funny one or an interesting one. That's the amount of offers, and I do not mean this as a chance of you getting into Oxford, but a chance of you getting your first choice college, because some colleges just get a whole lot of applications sent to them, while other colleges do not receive quite as many. They do kind of like sort it out within the university, but if you want to make a safe bet, you might really want to look at the colleges that tend to be not oversubscribed so much, because Brasenose and Worcester College both are extremely oversubscribed. You can find all of this data on the Oxford website, by the way. Other colleges that are kind of oversubscribed but not too much on my list are Christchurch and Magdalen. Those also receive above average amounts of applications. All the other ones, the other 4 that are still on my list, they are relatively normal. So I've narrowed it down to 4 colleges. And at this point, I would just recommend just visiting the website or the college itself, and then just pick the one that you feel most at home at. I hope this was very helpful for you, because picking a college is hard. It's complicated. In the end, again, it does not matter where you end up at. Everybody loves their college, and your education will still be absolutely amazing. And good luck picking a college, because that's so fun to do. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.